What's up, Pinball Expo? Jack Danger here, back on the Expo stage where we're going to be interviewing a very storied young man who has a very interesting and long career in pinball. And today marks a very special day for Mr. George Gomez.
Today is the day that I started working in the business right out of college, Midway Games, October 16th, 1978.
That's it, bonkers.
And I will tell you that I thought I was going to be doing this, I was going to do this game thing for a couple of years, and then I was going to get a real design job.
And lo and behold, you're still here. I love that. So your first job out of college, what were you doing when you first stepped into those doors?
Right. So thanks to the internet, you can look up my work. Midway had licensed a black and white video game called Blue Shark.
Black and white game called Blue Shark.
Yeah, and Blue Shark looks a lot like Shark Hunter in Jaws.
Right. Yeah.
And my job was, my boss came to me and he said, "I want you to design the spear gun." This thing had, it's black and white, and you had a spear gun, and you shot.
A physical spear gun.
Yeah, physical spear gun. Yeah. So look it up, Blue Shark.
Do you think there's one of those out here somewhere? Or have you seen one?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Heck yeah.
Don't hit the diver.
Exactly.
Right? Don't shoot the diver.
Don't shoot the diver. Hit the sharks.
Right.
I'm glad you stuck with it. So you have actually been in and out of pinball, right? As far as toy design, and then coming back to games, and then.
Yeah, well, my career, I started out doing coin-operated upright video games at Midway. I had a couple of games that you might know in that time. A little game called Tron, a little game called Spy Hunter.
Yeah.
And I was there about 7 years, and then I left. I was a toy inventor at a consulting firm in downtown Chicago for a while. I invented toys that were licensed to all the major toy companies, and that was a lot of fun.
There was actually a gentleman here last year that brought one of these crashing car toys that explodes.
Crash and Bash.
Yeah.
Crash and Bash by Galoob. Batteries not included.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, after toys, I went through a period of time there where I was working on all kinds of things, novelty games, Japanese sit-down driving games, all kinds of things. So I eventually found my way to pinball. I looked at a pinball machine. I said, "This looks like a giant toy."
Yeah, absolutely.
And I didn't know how to play pinball. I didn't know anything about pinball, but I thought this would be so awesome to design. So I managed to talk my way into Williams Electronics, and I think you all know my games from that era. After Williams got out of the pinball business, the fellas across the street, Midway Games, reached out to me and said, come on over and get a Midway business card again. So I think, I don't know, I spent some large number of years of my career with a Midway business card. So I worked on Xbox and PlayStation stuff, worked on a game called NBA Ballers, an NBA licensed one-on-one basketball game. Yeah, and in the 2000s, right? We sold 1 million copies of that thing, right? So
dang, that's impressive.
That was big time back then. Nowadays, that's nothing. They do that right out of the box. So I did that. While I was doing that, Gary Stern reached out through Ray Tanzer. Ray Tanzer called me up and said, would you like to design pinball machines for us? And so I went to see my bosses at Midway, and I said, if you guys don't have an issue, I'd like to do this on the side. I told Gary, I said, don't put me in any schedules, because, I got a real job. That business is a 2-year cycle, and I would always try to do my Stern work in that middle year so that I didn't have to worry about launching the game, shipping the game.
Right.
And it was during that time that I did games like Lord of the Rings and Sopranos and The Dark Knight. In 2008, Midway blew up with the economy, and Stern almost ceased to exist, right? It took Gary a year and a half or something to find his partner and get some funding. And he called me up one day and he said, we're getting the band back together. Come and run product development. The Stern Pinball of those days is not the Stern Pinball you will see tomorrow. There was like, I think I have 55 developers, game developers in the development studio. I have probably another 30 consultants on the outside. When I walked in the door, the company was literally on the ropes, and I had 9.
Yeah, who was the lead designer? Like, were there multiple lead designers at the time?
So initially it was Borgie, and then I brought on Steve Ritchie, and so we started out with and it was Lyman, Lonnie, Steve, a couple of the mechanical engineers that are still with us, John Rothermel, Rob Blakeman, and so and Gabby was there.
Oh, yeah.
So, we were a really small group, and those early games were very unfinished, as you know, when we shipped them. But, we had to do what we had to do to get product out the door and survive. And it is those times that sort of have allowed this.
Shaped all this. So when you were a contractor and you were working on those games, what was the first game that you worked on, you think, as a contractor for Stern?
I think it was Playboy, and it was me and Dwight. Ray Tanzer was in my job.
Right, yeah, he was leading that's right.
He was leading product development. I did get a trip to the mansion out of it. I got invited to, I think it was like the Midsummer Night's Dream Party or something.
Sure. One of the thousands of themed parties I'm sure
right.
they have.
Right. It was very corporate. It was not what you imagined.
We walk it off. We walk it off.